Welcome back to Winning Law. I'm attorney David Nguyen with offices in Houston, Texas, and today we're going to cover 3 recent changes to U.S. immigration laws just in the last month. There were many changes to immigration laws, but these are the 3 major changes, and some of these changes were unannounced by the U.S. government. So if you have recently filed certain cases, these changes may impact you. The first major change involves 3 particular types of cases. So if you have recently filed or going to file a VAWA, a T, or a U petition, this major change will impact on how you're going to file this particular type of case. Previously, when you filed one of these cases, you file it with the Vermont Service Center. However, recently the government changed it to now these cases are being filed with the Nebraska Service Center. And this is important because this change was unannounced. So if you filed your case already, you may notice that the receipt is going to come from the Nebraska Service Center, even though you mailed it to the Vermont Service Center. There's nothing to be alarmed about, and this is perfectly normal since that's the new filing location. Another change that you may experience is that you may receive online notices that your cases were transferred, and this is also perfectly normal. So if you have an I-360 receipt notice or I-918 receipt notice, or even an I-765 work permit application receipt notice, and you notice that online it says that your case was transferred, just note that they're just transferring that case to the Nebraska Service Center, since this is going to be the new field office that's going to handle this type of case. Additionally, if you received a rejection notice from the Vermont Service Center, this is also not a mistake. So go ahead and just refile the case with the Nebraska Service Center. This information, even though it was not updated when this change occurred, and a lot of people were having issues wondering why they're having all of these little notices, this change has finally been updated on the government's website. I believe they just updated it yesterday. So if you go to USCIS.gov and you check on filing location, you will see that it has been changed to the Nebraska Service Center. The second major change also involves a very particular case, and that's the I-751 petition to remove conditions on residence. So there are so many changes involved in this particular form in the last year and just recently. So in the past, when you filed an I-751 petition, you were given a receipt notice that extended your expired green card by 12 months. And then due to the extended delays in receiving an adjudication on this form, the government sent out new receipt notices indicating that your expired green card will be extended for 18 months. Now with the most recent addition, the government is stating that the I-751 petition is taking a very long time, and now they're going to issue receipt notices that extend the expired green card by 48 months. That's 4 years. Now you might be wondering what will happen to cases that have already been filed and that are taking a long time, and your prior receipt notices that were good for 18 months is no longer good. The government is going to send out new receipt notices for you. It may take them some time, maybe 1 to 3 months, but they're definitely going to send out new receipt notices. If you don't receive a new receipt notice and your prior one has already expired, I do recommend that you make an e-query with USCIS and request a new receipt notice indicating that your green card status has been extended for another 48 months. The last major change to U.S. immigration laws involves changes to the medical exams or immigration physicals. So if you filed an I-485 application to adjust status, you may notice that it requires a medical exam or an immigration physical. So usually immigration attorneys such as myself, we would recommend to our clients maybe not get the medical exam until they call you in for an interview, because sometimes interviews are scheduled over 2 years later, and then the government will need a new medical exam since the medical exam is only good for about 2 years. However, recently the government has changed this policy. Now what they're encouraging applicants to do is to file the medical exam with their case. And a big reason why they're doing this is that they're trying to approve these cases without an interview. So if you send it in and there's sufficient evidence about your relationship and about your marriage, if this is a marriage-based petition, they may just go ahead and waive the interview altogether and just issue you a green card. But in order to do this, they need the medical exam. So If you were told by your immigration attorney before that you don't need to submit a medical exam, that's true. However, the laws recently changed and now the government actually encourages people to go ahead and submit their medical exams. So if you're watching this video and you're wondering whether or not you should submit your medical exam with your application, the answer is absolutely yes. Please go ahead and submit it with your application. This way the government may have the opportunity to waive your immigration interview. So you might be wondering, how does this policy work? So if you file your case, let's say for a family-based adjustment, you would file it with the National Benefit Center. So usually the National Benefit Center will look at the case and determine whether or not you have submitted sufficient documentation to schedule an interview. So if you have, what they would do is they would send it to a local field office. So you live in Houston, they will send it to the Houston field office. If you live in Austin, where there's not a close field office, they will send it to the San Antonio field office, which is your closest field office, and schedule an interview for you. However, with the recent change, what they're doing now is that instead of sending the National Benefit Center, sending it to the local field office, they're sending it to a closer field office that's not as busy. So for example, if you file your case and is scheduled for an interview in Houston, instead of sending it to the Houston field office, the National Benefit Center may send it to the Harlingen or the San Antonio field office and ask him, look at the case, and if you think there is sufficient documents here, go ahead and just request a medical exam from the applicant right away. This way we can waive the interview at the Houston field office. So if you receive a request for evidence or even a notice of intent to deny asking for your medical exam or an immigration physical, and it's sent from the Harlingen field office or the San Antonio field office or a field office that's not close to where you are, don't be surprised. Just ask your attorney or do it yourself. Mail in the medical exam. This way, the government may have an opportunity to waive your immigration interview. Again, thank you for watching Winning Law. I'm attorney David Nguyen, and we hope that we have made immigration easier to understand.
At David Nguyen's Law Office, we are here to help you. We bring families together through immigration. And on the other hand, we help you find solutions. All your legal needs in the hands of people who care, who are there for you. We'll take care of your loved ones at the law office of David Nguyen.